what if we change something? What if we really change their trajectory? I mean, not everybody, but, for some people, what if we can really change the trajectory of people's lives? At the height of the pandemic, we distributed about 14 million pounds of food a year with just astronomical need. So we've settled out to distribution around 11 to 12 million pounds of food right now, but we still see about 30% more people than we did before the pandemic. So that equates to about 115,000 unduplicated people across our service area. It's a huge number. That's a huge number of people accessing food from a food pantry over the course of a year. And we have seen a huge increase in need, especially in rural communities, because there's just not a lot of resources.
I receive phone calls each and every day of families that are destitute, that need support. And we do have at our warehouse, we do have some of the dry goods, the boxes that we can hand out through our social workers. But there is a significant need. We are a community that embraces and understands poverty, but it's our responsibility as a school district, as a community, as a whole, to give back and serve. And that's why, in working with Second Harvest, you twice a month bring vehicles to our facilities and we can serve our families, and we are so grateful.
Lorain has a huge moderate and low income population, so there is definitely a need. And to be able to have a group like Second Harvest fill that need was very, very helpful.
There's so many people out there who are in need of assistance and just need a little hand up, just a little extra help and a little bit of an ease of the burden that they're dealing with. And I think one thing I was super proud of was like the amount of dignity that Second Harvest and that we always serve people with. Everybody needs help at some point. And so I think that's a big deal that Second Harvest, continues to provide people with dignity as they're serving.
We have stronger relationships now with our partners, with cities, with schools, than we have ever had before. And I think for a lot of people, the pandemic and the work that we did through the pandemic proved that we can do different things, that we can pivot quickly, that we can meet the needs of the community, and that we were in it for the long haul.
And during the height of the pandemic, thank goodness for the National Guard, but thank goodness for Second Harvest, because you already had the relationships to be able to show up in the community and be a trusted partner in the community. You weren't just out there doing your own thing. You were listening to what the community had to say.
So Julie's always been willing, one of those people that let's talk about what's going to be best. I've always liked that she wants, okay, let's figure out what's the best way going to be. And she is willing to sit down and have those conversations.
Be yes first and then let's figure it out, and I think that's the type of leadership that's like, yep, it sounds good, it's going to serve people, let's figure out how to make it happen.
I frequently brag about the fact that Julie and this leadership team could run pretty much anything for or not for profit. They are one of the best leadership teams I've seen in any of my clients. And I seriously mean that, for profit or not for profit.
I can honestly say Second Harvest, if not the top, was one of the top organizations that we knew was going to stretch our dollar the furthest. They were going to create the greatest impact with our dollar, and there was no question of that. Once we peeled back the onion, looked at the numbers, looked at the system of how food was getting distributed, we knew, this is a great place to continue to support.
It's a partner who you can believe is going to do the right thing. And they're going to try their best to, whatever the monies are, they're going to try to make it so that it is leveraged and expanded and used the best they can be.
As the mayor of Lorain, I know that when I talk to our building, housing, and planning department and say, hey, this is a project that I think we should work on and maybe get some grant money for, Second Harvest is like at the top of the list. So it's a good operation, people who care, and does so much good.
This current plan is, I don't want to say a sea change, because that implies the others weren't significant. But it is significantly different in that It's at a much higher strategic level.
So I think this strategic plan actually pushes us a lot further than where we've been before.
I think there's a lot that can be gleaned from this to make some national models. And whether they fully want to tout their own horn or not, I plan to do that with food banks I know outside the region. Because I just think the model they're putting forward for this is really exceptional.
Help us continue to do the work that we do. That's what's most important. I mean, that's what's gotten us to where we are now. Especially, there were some, tough times for Second Harvest over the years. And, our donors and our foundations have stuck with us through some of, the more difficult times, through the recession in 2008 and 2009, building our new facility, all of those things, believing in our mission, believing in our vision for the future. We just need to continue to have that belief in us and in our work.